Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. Whether this is your first time here or you've already watched my videos about 100 times, I'm just really glad you even made it to this page. For those of you that are returning viewers, or maybe you just got bored, decided to scroll through my videos, do some Facebook stalking but on the YouTube, you may notice that we have not seen this airplane before. This is the Pilatus PC-21 and it is made by Iris Simulations, which, if you're curious about where I get this mod or any of my mods in my videos, go ahead and scroll down through the description. It's going to be towards the bottom because I got to put in timestamps in the music credits from the intro video. But if you scroll down to the bottom of the description, you'll see all the mods that I use in each video, and I do my best to put an actual link to that modification so it's really easy for you to find if you want it. But this aircraft is new to the channel, and if you take a look behind the cockpit underneath the formation lights, you'll see a little gray kangaroo inside of a little gray circle. And if that gives you any hints, we are in a new country to the channel, Australia. But if that gets you excited, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but we will not be here long, because we are taking this aircraft on a 1,200 nautical mile flight to Wellington, New Zealand, which, for those of you that have been around, you know that is a common destination for us. So I figured it would be a great place to really put the PC-21 through its paces, see what it can do, see its fuel economy. We got the external tanks loaded up with fuel, we got the wings loaded up with fuel, and I already did a lot of the programming in the FMS, so we don't even really got to mess around with that. And so it is like a 4-hour flight, so we've done enough talking out here. Let's go ahead, hop in the airplane, and kick some tires and light some fires and get moving. Okay, so here we are inside of the PC-21, and at least for this part of the flight, we're going to act as the instructor pilot. We'll probably move up to the front seat later on. One of the reasons we'll probably move up to the front is we don't have all the buttons in the back seat that the front seat has. And because of that, I have had to do a little bit of pre-programming the aircraft, and there's some switches I had to go up front to activate just because we don't have them in the back. So first thing we're going to do, since we have closed and locked the canopy, we'll arm our ejection seat. Front seat's already taken care of. He also removed the pin for the canopy. And we'll go ahead and get the battery and generators on. We'll kill the red flashy switch, that way we don't have to hear it. And so one of the things to get these screens to turn on, we have to be up front. That button's down here. Just like all of our light switches and our de-ice is all up in the front. We don't have it in the back, which I think is kind of odd since the instructor sits in the back. You'd think he'd want some switches, or at least some way to verify that the front seat's doing it. You know, as an instructor, what if you're flying into icing and your front seat guy never activates the stuff? How are you going to know? And so this is our HUD. It's a little computer screen. You know, got our standard comms, ILS, transponder, which I put a code in today, guys, since we're going to be flying up at 25,000 feet. I have a non-VFR code in here. Got our fuel. That's not the right page. I like this one, MSN. I don't know what that means, but I like the information it provides. And so this is going to be really easy startup. I don't know the actual procedures to starting the real PC-12. I don't even have a checklist for it. But I know enough to get it started and not alarm when we try and take off. So with that, we got our anti-skid on. We got our trim on. This is in the cutoff position. Flaps are up. Our oxygen's currently off, which is fine. Landing gear's down. And our FMS is on. And we already programmed it, which I'll go over in a little bit for those of you that care. And so with that, this is a really easy plane to start. We come over here on the left-hand side to auto start. Lift the cover and hit the button. As you can see, the prop is spinning. And I'm not sure what exactly we're looking for on the NG. I go for 15 like the Kodiak. So there's 15, and then I come over here and bring the throttle up out of the cutoff position. And now we have an engine start. Then now that we have a good engine start, we will go ahead and drop the flaps and hit the air brake. Air brake comes on just to make sure that everything's working smoothly. We'll scoot over to the side so we can see the back. Rudder works, elevators work, and then our ailerons are moving, so that's all good. So now we'll go ahead, bring the air brake up and the flaps up, because we're not going to use any of those for takeoff. And now just going to verify we got everything good here. Map is set up for the most part how I like it. Like that on MSN. We got our heading program to runway heading. And we will put this on, let's see, that's hydraulics, electric, fuel. I'll eventually leave it on the fuel page, but for right now we will leave it on, there's the one I'm looking for, systems. So we can see our cabin pressure, parking brakes on, fuel, and all of our engine stuff. We got an oxygen light, should just be ours. Yep, now I got 2 flashing lights right there, and the oxygen light is gone. Fuel pump's automatic, so we don't got to worry about that. And now we can go ahead, taxi out to the runway. On the airport chart, we have a giant X across 1, 2 and a little nav map, and I believe it's even painted on the runway. So if you look at the windsock, we probably should take off on runway 1, 2, but since there's an X through it, we're going to go all the way down to runway 30. So I'll see you guys down at the runway. Alright, so here we are down at runway 30. We had a bunch of cars that just wanted to drive right down the middle of the taxiway that we had to avoid. But for those of you who care, I'm going to go over our flight plan for today. So we are flying a standard instrument departure off of runway 30. And we're going to go to Abvuk and then to, I think that'd be pronounced, what would that be, Egavo? And then we're actually going to begin our route over to Wellington, which I will switch over to little nav map now. Alright, so here we are in a little nav map. That little yellow guy, that's us. Apparently got a 737 coming down. We're going to be taking off runway 30. We're going to pretty much fly straight off the runway and then make a left-hand turn. We'll come up with, I want to say it's pronounced Abvuk. I'm not sure. And then this other waypoint I have a hard time pronouncing. That's our standard instrument departure. Then we're going to go to Donik, Shazah, then Rickney, and then finally we're going to come down here to Pluga, and that's where we're going to join up with M636. We'll be at 25,000 feet for our flight across the ocean. or I guess it's not really an ocean. Or for my friends down under, is this an ocean, a pond, a channel? That's probably that's got to be too wide to be a channel. It's like 1,000 miles. It's probably just called an ocean. What is the name of this if you happen to know it? But anyway, we're going to fly M636 all the way across until get to our terminal arrival, which starts at Tannen. We're going to just pretty much fly straight over, and we're going to come to Picton, and that's where we're actually going to fly the arrival in. Winds are still looking out of 160, and they are 160 at 16. So we're going to plan on landing on runway 16, and this arrival, sorry about that, little nav map for you. And this arrival actually takes us right into pretty much a final approach right over downtown and into the airport. So that's our route. Let me know if you like the breakout into a little nav map if you care to know that. Just put something down below so that way I know you like this part. Maybe I'll do it more. But now let's go ahead, jump back in the sim, and get on our way. Alright, so I did have to get us repositioned out on the runway. Ran into some technical issues, but we are ready to go to Wellington now. So we got the airplane set up. We are actually going to use a notch of flaps for takeoff. We got the runway heading programmed in, and we got a vertical speed set. So we'll go ahead and bring the engine up to about 40%, see if it stabilizes. And see, it's pretty stable right there at 37. That's good enough for me. We'll go ahead, bring throttle up, and release the parking brake. And just with that tailwind we got, it's a pretty strong tailwind. I think running about 20-25 knots. It's going to be a little bit of a pain of a takeoff. Normally we would rotate at about 90, but just with that tailwind, we're probably going to go a little bit into the 100s here for takeoff. There's 110, so we should be more than fast enough now. Yeah, there we go. And now we have a positive rate, so we'll bring that gear up. And I'm going to go ahead and activate autopilot. And so it's doing good. We'll go ahead and bring our flaps up. And we'll bring power back to the yellow line. That way we're not overstressing the engine. And then we'll go ahead and bump our vertical speed up to about 3,000. That way we don't bust any speed restrictions. It should keep us pretty good. And now we'll make sure that we're on the right nav, which is our FMS, and we'll activate nav. So now we should be flying, and it's starting to rain, so since it is raining, we'll go ahead, put on the bypass, get on the prop. We don't need prop de-ice. What's our temperature? 12 degrees Celsius. We'll just turn it on to be safe. Already got our probes on. And there we go, maintaining about 230. We're going a little fast, but we're still climbing. And this is kind of cool. I actually haven't flown this airplane in the rain yet, so this is kind of nice. So one of the things I was talking about earlier, we have a lot more switches here up front, like turning on the FMS, activating. This is how you activate all the screens up front. All of our light switches, which we can leave all those on for now. But for some reason, we just don't have those in the back. We do need to go to our approach channel, which is going to be 135.7, com 1135700. Enter. Looks like we're still gaining speed, so I say we should be good to bring this back to about 80% now. That'll help us conserve some fuel. What does that do to our speed? We're slowing down a little. I don't think we'll slow down too much. We'll just keep an eye on that throughout the climb. And now we're out of the rain, I think. We're just going to start popping through clouds. And, oh, you know what? I don't think we turned our transponder. It's on 3. We'll turn it to mode C. Should have did that before we left, but I forgot about it. Now we got our fuel. So we still got 827 in the externals. We got 2113 total. And then I like this MSN page. It tells us our waypoint information, how far we are from it. I believe that should be our track to whatever our waypoint is. Looks like waypoint 3. Then we also get our airspeeds and our ETAs, which is all pretty cool. I like all that stuff. So now, I'll probably talk to you guys a little bit in the cruise. Maybe I'll talk to you at top of climb. Depends how long I want this video to be, but I will see you guys in a little bit. Hello everyone. So if you take a look around, it is all ocean. So we are up at cruise. Take a look down here. We're right about 25,000 feet. We just dipped down a little bit. That's Microsoft Flight Sim for you. We're cruising with about 80% power. And I just want to take this time to kind of go over the aircraft a little. So we are in the back seat again, the instructor seat. And looking forward, this is our heads-up display because we cannot see above our front pilot. This right here, you can dim it down. You can actually turn it all the way to the off position. Which, not sure if you can tell it's dimming at all. It takes a lot of scrolling, but you can eventually get it all the way off. See, there we go. Now it's disappearing. Let's get it turned up. That's pretty good. This button doesn't seem to work. Continuing down, in the front seat, this is actually modeled where you could, if you had weapon systems, which we do not, you could arm them. Standby attitude indicator. We touched on this screen a little bit earlier. This is the MSN. I like this one. And then this is kind of just another gauge for our engine instruments. Then we just have some light ups. Coming down to this screen, I like it on systems because it gives us our engine information, cabin pressure, outside air temp, and an overview of our fuel. Checklist here on the side in COM, I don't know how to get to work. Here we can see the hydraulics, then we can see the electrical, fuel, which it only shows the internal tanks. For the external, we just get a number, but here's our internal tanks modeled. ECS does not work, and then you can just see the engine overview. We'll put that back in systems. If we opt, doesn't work. If we go over to I don't know what it means. I call it Insta, but INST. This is page 2. On page 1, we can control the ground power, external tanks, if we want to use multiplayer, the brightness of the lights. Then you can have the airplane do all this stuff yourself, so get it in startup condition, taxi condition, takeoff, or shutdown. Which cockpit we want to be in. Our altimeter is currently set to millibars, as you can see, 1013. And then we have our HUD type, which will demonstrate up front, not in the back. But I like it set to PC-12. Then on page 2, our virtual cockpit aircrew set to auto, oxygen and pins are set to normal. Then you can choose if the chocks and stuff automatically come out, or same with your pilots. Then continuing down, there's our autopilot. Oh, actually, we want to go left. Here in the middle, just our standard instrument displays. We got airspeed, attitude indicator, altimeter, vertical speed. Here's our G-forces. And then this right here is pretty much standard navigation display, which we're not getting anything off that. So let's just go ahead and put that to our FMC. Over here is kind of our navigational map. From what I've been told, if you're in the proper parts of the world, this will actually display a map instead of just a black screen. It's hard to tell, but this brown triangle, well, square with a circle in it, that's the waypoint we're going to. In this case, it is Velku, and it is 168 miles away. As it gets closer, it'll actually move towards the aircraft like it's a waypoint coming at us. None of this actually seems to do anything, but I click it, makes the screen look busier. Maybe it looks like we're actually doing something. Here's our landing gear, trim locations, trim controls, automatic fuel pumps, jettison, auto start, our starters, ignition, anti-skid, lamps test, all fairly standard stuff. There's your panel light controls. And here's our FMC, or correction, FMS, which for some reason stopped working on me earlier, so we don't have our arrival in there yet. That's going to be fun once we get to doing the arrival. But now I'll go ahead and switch this to the front and we'll take a look up there. Alright, so now we'll go over kind of the front of the airplane. For the most part, everything's similar. If we look down here, still got our lights, oxygen control, mixture, which I've actually never touched that. Flaps, throttle. We do have fire test up here. Then we have our fuel pump controls for the external tanks. We have the emergency gear lever. And then coming over here, here's how we turn on the HUD and the main panels right here. We also have our de-ice controls, and we have our FMS on and off, which it wasn't working in the back seat for some reason, but it is working up here in the front, so that's good. I can't remember if I touched on it already, but this is a fairly basic FMS. It's not complicated at all, which is perfect for me because I'm not super complicated. And this makes it really easy for me to understand. We also have our smoke controls, if we do have the smoke pods attached, and we have our temperature and cabin pressure controls as well. One of the things that was different was the HUD. So if we take a look, the back always has the PC-21 HUD. But here we see the big bars going across for 5 and 10 degrees. There's 5 and 10, well, there's 2.5 and 5 degrees down. That diamond is the waypoint we have in. There's our track, waypoint, track. There's got alpha, our current G-force, max G since the last reset, our Mach speed, airspeed in a circle, ground speed, navigation source is the FMS. Not sure what time this represents. There's our next waypoint of Velku. It's 107.2 miles away. Time left till we get there. And there's our altimeter in a circle. There's vertical speed. If we come down here to HUD and we pick FA-18, we now have the FA-18 HUD. So there's the brackets for 10 degrees up, 5 degrees up. 5 degrees down, 10 degrees down. There's our track. There's us. Got our altitude, vertical speed, speed, alpha, Mach, and G-speed. Since we... Well, I don't know why I said G-speed. Is G... No, G-force. There we go. But since we are flying a PC-21, I think we should leave it on PC-21. Plus, I do like the setup of this better than for the Hornet. It's really the only differences for the front of the aircraft. I'll give you guys a nice view here while I rant for a little bit. Or actually, I'm going to go find a nice view, and then I'll come rant later in the flight. So, I'll see you guys later for the rant. Well, unfortunately, since we're over the ocean, there's not really anything super pretty to look at. So this was kind of the best scenic view where I'm not blowing eardrums out, because it's pretty loud on the outside of the aircraft. For those of you new to the channel, or returning viewers that just never pay attention to the rant, in most of these flights, I usually rant for a little bit in the middle of the flight, because I have nothing else better to do than to talk to you wonderful people. So this flight will be no exception. I know it's been a while since I last posted. I'm looking over at my YouTube page on my other computer. Looks like December 5th was my last video, so it's been 12 days. Today's December 17th. By the time this gets out, it'll probably be 14 days, because I still got to edit it and actually try and upload it, and I live on a farm, and farm internet's pretty slow. So it'll probably be like 2 weeks since my last video. I do want to try and get these videos out a little bit faster for you guys. Just right now, this upcoming week, I'm selling a pickup truck. My work schedule's changing from working 5/8s to 4/10s. I had recently moved over to swing shift. I'm going to be going back to day shift, which will hopefully help out trying to get videos. And then on top of that, I've been going to the gym for the last month. Been going there 5 days a week, trying to get in a little bit better shape. And so just trying to find time to actually get the videos in has been a little bit tough, because I got so many other things I'm working on right now. But one really cool, exciting thing is actually a reason I haven't got a video out either, is my buddy from work. Well, I met him at work, and we don't actually work together at the same job, but he's a really good friend of mine. Really awesome dude. He actually recommended a new game to me. It is on Steam for my Steamers out there. It is called Police Simulator Patrol Officers. I know you're probably thinking, but Tyler, there's LSPDFR. Why would we want to pay $29.99 and buy Police Simulator when we could just have LSPDFR? You know, that's a good question that I'm not even going to argue with you, because to each their own. I decided, instead of installing Grand Theft Auto and then installing about 1,000 mods, to actually have LSPDFR with like a cool Tahoe and some cool stuff, different uniform. You know how it goes. You get a new game, want to download about 100 mods. I would just give Police Simulator a go. The cool thing is, my buddy, he also has a YouTube channel. I'll give him a shout out. It's Popo Mechanic. And if you go to his page, we're supposed to do some multiplayer on it here soon, because it has built-in multiplayer capacity. And he's going to make some videos on it, so if you want to check that out, I'll try and remember to link into his channel. That way you guys can head over there. And who knows, maybe I'll make a video on it too. If you're curious, it's not like LSPDFR, because in the past I have played it. I remember LSPDFR being, when I did play it for like a day, maybe 2 days, it seemed like every other thing I did, you're like shooting someone, and I wasn't really interested in that. And so trying out the Police Simulator, I was curious if it would kind of follow in the same footsteps, and it does not, that is for sure. Like the first 2 or 3 quote-unquote shifts that I worked in Police Simulator, I was stuck on foot patrol, And it was pretty much writing parking tickets, running radar with a little radar gun, and stopping people for throwing trash on the ground and for jaywalking. Then once you get enough experience built up from doing what it wants you to do in the game, then you can drive a car, you can work car accidents. Recently I unlocked graffiti and wallet snatching, or purse snatching. Haven't done a whole lot of that because it seems like every 2 minutes I'm on a car crash. It does do a lot of car crashes, but overall it's actually kind of an entertaining game. I'm sure it's not for everyone, but they make a simulator for everything these days, so just like Flight Simulator's not for everyone, or American Truck Sim's not for everyone, Police Sim's not for everyone. But if you do, check out Popo Mechanic. He was doing LSPDFR videos, and now he wants to do some police simulator videos, and he has some other cool games he wants to work on, but I'll let him talk about that. I won't talk about that for him. But you guys should go over there, take a look at his channel if you're interested. I'll be over there eventually. And yeah. But I'm trying to get more videos out for you guys. I'm probably going to stick with Flight Sim for now. Although, come February, Kerbal Space Program 2 comes out. And we will definitely be spending a lot of time in Kerbal Space Program 2. Looking over just the channel in general, we are going to keep flying the Piper Arrow. That will probably be a week or two from now. We'll get back into that. And, excuse me. And back during, I think, the Cessna video, or it might have even been the Spruce Goose video. I think I even talked about it in the Piper Arrow video. I think I've been talking about this for 3 or 4 videos now. Been talking about this magical and so far mythical flight that's going to be like a 4-part series in a big airplane, which I haven't announced which airplane it is yet. But it's going to be like a 3 or 4-part series where we pretty much fly it across half of the world. That is still on the books of things to do. I legitimately have a notebook at my desk next to my computer that says I need to make this video. This video I'm making today was actually not on the list, but I didn't really feel like flying the Piper, and I didn't feel like doing that long of a flight for the other series. Although this flight's like 4 hours long, the other flight was 5 hours. I probably should have just did the other one. But yeah, so I'm super excited for what's to come in the channel. I hope you guys are excited for the probably 3 of you that watch this part of the video. And one thing, if you guys take a look through the video, those intro videos I spend a lot of time on. I know it's only like 1.5 minutes to like actually play the video on a good day, but to actually make it takes a ton of work. If you guys like those intro videos, let me know. Maybe I'll do more. They're pretty time consuming because I got to record everything, edit it all together, and then half the time I'm not happy with how it works out, so then I got to re-edit the whole thing, and finding a song is a whole nother problem. So let me know if you guys like those videos. The other thing, this one I kind of threw in a little nav map. Most of you guys probably didn't watch that part of the video. But right before takeoff, so after taxi, before takeoff, kind of popped in a little nav map, showed you guys the overview of the flight. Let me know if that's something that you guys like. And then I've been doing these time accelerations where, you know, we taxi really fast, we get some clips of cruise really fast. I did climb today, got some climbing clips. I'll probably do descending as well. Let me know if you guys like that. Because if so, I'll keep doing it. If you don't, maybe I'll just cut it out completely. Maybe I'll throw something else in there. I don't really know. I'm still trying to figure out this whole YouTube thing. You know, I got to get the algorithm right. Figure out what the people want to see, what they don't want to see. But yeah, let me know what you guys like. Let me know what you don't like. Once again, at the end of the day, I'm just super excited you're even here. Looking at the dashboard, if I click over to it right now, we're up to 179 subscribers. And my first video was posted on June 10th of 2022. That video has 224 views as of right now. And I'm just still amazed I even got 222 views on that, 224 views on that video. And the fact 179 of you have even subscribed to the channel. I'm super excited. I know it's not much, but I'm very impressed. I didn't think we'd get this big. I know I'm a real hot shot at 179 subscribers, and looks like my channel in the last month has 4,000 views. I'm a big celebrity now. But I didn't really think we'd get to this point. You know, I just fly Flight Simulator and was like, yeah, let's make a video, slap it on YouTube, see what happens. And it's pretty cool. I'm looking like I have a Kodiak tutorial that has 132 likes. That's pretty cool. I never would have. I'm still to this day amazed at how many people watch my Kodiak tutorial. Well, up to 5,857. I never imagined that video would get that popular. So, I really do appreciate all of you guys, and you're all awesome. And I look forward to making more videos. It's a little time consuming, and some days I don't have the creative parts of my brain functioning properly to actually make a video. But it is a lot of fun. I do like it. And apparently, 179 of you also like it, so that's pretty cool. And as time goes on, hopefully that number will continue to grow. With that, I'm going to keep on cruising. I'm probably not going to chat with you guys again until we start heading into Wellington. So I'll see you in... We pop back into the cockpit here, we can find out. It's in here somewhere. I know where to find it. There we go. See you guys in like 2 hours and 40 minutes. Right, so we are back. And if you want to take a look, you can see land now. And some water. We are about 21 miles west of Nelson. That's the Nelson VOR right there. We did have a little change of plans. I ultimately had to kill our FMS. I went to put in our arrival, so the star coming into Wellington, and it just stopped working. It ended up trying to get us to fly to a different waypoint, and then I managed to get it reprogrammed to follow the proper waypoints into Wellington. But that didn't help, and now it still says it's going to take me 5 hours and 15 minutes to get to where we want to be. And that's not accurate. So we decided we're going to do it off VORs. And so I got us lined up with the Nelson VOR about 115 miles ago. And then we're going to fly a 059 radial. And that should get us to intercept the... I forget the name of the waypoint. But that first waypoint on the ILS to... I think it's Whitby. Yeah, so that should get us to intercept Whitby to fly the ILS into runway 16 over in Wellington. As you notice, there are a lot of clouds. Oh, that's kind of pretty. I'm going to take a picture of that. There's a lot of cloud cover. And last weather check, when I looked about 5 minutes ago, there was a temporary METAR put out for Wellington. And it was showing really beautiful conditions of broken at 1200 with the rain showers. So we're going to have a little bit of a fun approach. We're probably going to end up flying an ILS in. And yeah, so I'm going to work on getting us down. We'll be descending right about now, being 10 minutes out from Nelson, and we're going to just pretty much drop right out the sky. And I'll talk to you guys probably on the ground. It was not my best landing. We were a little bit to the right. However, we made it, and I think it was a pretty smooth touchdown. So can't really complain too much more than that. It's actually a lot better out than the forecast was saying it was going to be, so that was a very pleasant surprise. Because it was not supposed to be pretty trying to come in here today. Sky Vector is where I got my weather information from, over on my other computer. And yeah, like I said, about 5-10 minutes out from the last time I talked to you guys, it was saying we were looking at 1,200 feet overcast with rain. So when we actually could get a view of the runway there by the city, that was a very pleasant surprise. Yeah, then we're going to park over here at the New Zealand Air Force Base. I figured that was a very fitting place to park this little guy at. And I don't know when we'll fly this again next. Maybe we'll fly it in a couple weeks after I finally get that series I want to started, or who knows, maybe it might be a while. But we are for sure going to fly this again, just like we will fly that little Piper Arrow again. And there's a lot of things I want to fly again. And now that we're here at the gate, or I guess the parking stand, got our parking brake set. Let's just run through here, get everything we need turned off. Landing light, recognition, whites, keep red and nav on, probes can come off. We don't need any of that anymore. Get anti-skid and trim off. Hit the red lights so that way we don't gotta hear it, and then we'll send it into cutoff. Alright, we can also turn our oxygen off. And we will put the pins back. So mainly just for the seat. We can flip our screens off as well. Now I gotta wait for the prop to slow down so that we can open up the canopy. So first we'll unlock it. Keep hitting the red button. And now the canopy's coming open. Once it's open, we can install the pin. And so, that was our fairly lengthy flight from Williamtown to Wellington. Me and the other pilot are going to get out, and I'll see you guys on the tarmac. Alright, so we got the aircraft all secured here at the Air Force Base in Wellington. And once again, I'd just like to thank all of you guys for tuning into the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If there's anything you did like, let me know. If there's anything you didn't like, I'd really like to know that down in the comments below. That way I can make these videos better for you guys. And with that, if you want to know what mods I use, just remember, go into the description. You're going to have to scroll to pretty much the very bottom. And I always put in what mods I use in each video. And with that, other than just saying thank you for about the 100th time, I hope you guys have a great day.